Big news! Okay, so Patreon post just released, and this might be the most substantial Patreon post we've had in a very long while. So, structure of this video, okay, because it's going to be a long one, alright, I'm just warning you now. I'm going to give a quick overview of what V75 will hold, and then I'll show you it and go into some more detail about the actual contents of the post. So, basic overview. We're going to see a visual overhaul, complete reworks to every single forest moon, the game will run smoother than ever, enhanced outdoor entity AI, and most importantly, very substantial amount of entities, most of which I think will be exclusive to specific moons or maybe even weathers. And I think, see, I've got little theories, I think I know what some of them are going to be. And the best part is that he gave an approximate release date, which I'm going to keep until the end of the video just so I can keep the viewer retention up, because my view count kind of does plummet after a news drought. So I've been on the little low side here. First part of the post says, "Hello, I can't believe I'm overdue for a progress update. Time is flying. Thanksgiving and the Christmas season probably contributed to that, but it's surely also because I'm having great fun. There's almost a manic energy to the project right now." Dude, if there's anything I want to hear from Azika's Patreon post is that there's a manic energy, like, bro. And then he shared an image. Do you want to guess what this moon is? If you guess Titan, you're wrong, because it's actually Vow. And holy shit, I'm not gonna lie, it looks insane. Because you can see the difference with the new shaders. As before, the foliage wouldn't work with the fog. It looks so nice, bro. He then says something very interesting, which I'll talk a little bit now, but more so later in the video. "It's literally a game changer because it's difficult to see things that are low to the ground. So this jungle-like density is exclusive to Vow." Now that he's redone all of the forest moons, it seems each forest moon really has its own identity. Vow is the claustrophobic, overridden forest. March is the wet, marsh-filled swamp that's obscured by fog most of the day to the point where it feels like night. And Adamance, as we've already seen, is going to be the exotic, colourful hills that still somehow aren't done with their visual overhaul. It looks crazy right now, but it's nowhere near complete. Putting these moons side by side really makes you appreciate how crazy this glow-up's going to be. In terms of lore, the final Sigurd log that was going to be added was instead split up into 3 smaller logs, because it was sidestepping major developments in order to wrap up things a little too quickly. But now he says he's satisfied with the story, and that means we'll get the final logs next update hopefully, and there'll be no more Sigurd logs added afterwards. He says he's working on lots of bug fixes and boosting performance. We already saw this with his post about adding the mod Lethal Sponge, which should definitely help frames a lot, especially with the new grass on forest moons. Then he says something else interesting. He says he's working on performance enhancements and new systems that will be required for new creature ideas that are on the pipeline. So now I'm going to talk about the big, juicy, voluptuous stuff. The creatures. He says he's going to add a creature feature update. An update that features a very large amount of creatures. I'll just let him speak for himself here. "I have always wanted to make a creature feature update which adds a significant amount of new wildlife to the game. I guess I just want to chase that high of playing the game for the first time and constantly stumbling upon new things. And I realized that the window for that is kind of closing as I use up more and more ideas. Yes, ideas are infinite, but good ideas are not. And I don't want to make creatures that are like reskins of already existing creatures. I believe there is an ideal number of creatures for the Lethal Company, and it doesn't just go up forever. So I've decided if there'll ever be a time for a creature feature, it's now. I hope this will be the most creatures ever released in a single update. I won't say how many, because I don't know what number we'll end up at. Don't get your hopes up too high." God damn. He talks about one entity he's begun implementing that had too many mechanics for a single entity, which, yeah, I don't know if this sounds familiar to any of you, but he's had to split it into 2 and maybe even 3 different creatures. I'm glad he recognizes this is an issue, though, with some entities, because, I mean, there have been problems. Aside from that, he says he doesn't want to talk about any other entity mechanics while they're still just basic concepts. So there's no more information about any other... Oh my god. So there's no more information about any other entities getting added in the post. Or is there? The biggest hint he gives in this post is this part here. "I guess I can mention that I've come up with an okay solution for keeping air-breathing creatures out of deep water, even taking flood weather into account. So, birds aren't going to stand in the bottom of a lake anymore." Okay, that's pretty cool. That's going to be nice to see. "And likewise, I can now limit a creature's domain to the water." There are no entities in the game that are limited to water. This is definitely a nod to him adding a water-based entity, and I don't think it's a new idea either. I think we've seen this idea before, in the form of a little guy called the Bog Crawler. This guy was a joke in the V60 patch notes, but I don't think he's a joke anymore. I believe that this new entity is going to act like a kidnapper fox if it was a fish, or at least like something that's going to pull you into the water, because you can't swim, and if it's limited to water, you'd not really ever come into contact unless it brought you to it. Also, the birds in water issue was mostly present on flooded moons like Adamant's, so that means this new AI change should affect flooded moons. And I think that this new water entity will spawn on flooded moons when the water has risen to a sufficient level, or on the forest moons in the surrounding sea. I know on the forest moons people don't really go near the water too much, but it would be kind of funny to see if you're just going a little too far out the map sometimes. The second hint is in this sentence I talked about earlier. It's literally a game changer because it's difficult to see things that are low to the ground. So this jungle-like density is exclusive to Val. Mentioning the thing about not being able to see stuff low to the ground just feels weird. Like, why would it be a game changer? I might be like completely speaking out my arse, but I think a new outdoor entity like a snake might be added, or some weird jungle creature that's small and hard to see. But hey, that's just a theory. Okay, nearly done. One last thing, which I believe is the most important thing of this post. Because Sigurd's story is over after this update, he thinks that the game should come out of early access. So V72 might be the last update before it leaves early access. Does that mean that the drill under the company building will get explained? Does it mean that Zeekerss will add an ending in this update, like he said he would when it gets to the full release? I've got no clue. But he did give an expected release date. He says it might release early next year, which is a lot earlier than I thought it would be, honestly, because it's a big update from what he's making it sound like. I thought he'd be giving fucking 2 years time, bro. Big news. Big news. This is gonna get me all my views. But yeah, apart from that, there's no news.